Well, hello, friends. I thought we'd do some fun programming today on Natalie, our Ruby implementation. And I don't really have an agenda today. I don't even know what to title this video, but I was going through some of our specs and what spec was I in? Method? No, I think it was block spec. Yeah, block spec. And this is specs. These are specs that came over from Ruby spec, which is a freely licensed specification of Ruby. And so a while ago, I pulled these in and then commented out all the ones that didn't work. But we're at the point now where some things could start working because I did a lot of work on arguments. And so I think this one, let me just do a clean build. Sorry, my webcam is kind of blurry. I'm on this Linux laptop because I've been wanting to work on Linux a little bit more, and the webcam is just kind of trash because it's an old ThinkPad. But that's okay. No one needs to see my face in full fidelity, full clarity. So let's just do our normal thing here. Ben, Natalie, spec, language, and block spec. And we'll see if that spec passes, and it does. Oh, well, there's no code in it. That is possibly why. That one passes, great. Anything with keyword arguments, we don't have keyword arguments yet, so I can't do any of this stuff. I'm just looking for anything with double asterisks or keyword arguments. I believe that's everything here. Yep, all the way down to here. But this one we should be able to make work. So, yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, cool. Let's do this. Start.nat and start.c, and we'll run it with enter. Oh, do I not have enter on this? Well, so apt updates. We will just install it because this tool is imperative. Will change your life. What it does is watches files, and when they change, it runs whatever command you give to it. And so what you do is you give it a list of files to watch. Is that everything? Let's just do .rb just in case. And then you pipe that to enter, and I do -c for clear and -s for shell because I usually like to run more than one thing. And then you can do this little /_ thing to have it run whatever file change, but I just want it to run this one thing for now. Spec language, I can't type, block spec.net. And hopefully it will run. Okay, yeah, so to make this test work, we're gonna have to do some fun things in our spec library, which is the most Natalie code that exists right now is our spec library, our support library. Undefined methods should not receive for array. And so that's this here. The way we want to do that, I believe, is... Yeah, so I think we want to do it on object. Every object should have this. Should not receive method. And I'm not sure how RSpec or Minitests actually implements this. I have a theory, and I'm just going to go with it, and we'll see what happens. I believe what they're doing is define method. Let me try that. So if I have an object and I do define method foo, yeah, define singleton method. And now I can call foo Yeah, so that's what I want to do. Define singleton method, and the block we're going to pass is I think just raise an error. Raise method should not have been called on inspect. Yeah, self-inspect. Should we raise? We should raise spec failed exception. Yeah. We should raise spec failed exception. Cool. Okay. Well, I know that's not going to work, so let's run this again. That's not going to run because we don't even have a defined singleton method. So that's going to be good. Close the blinds a little bit. It's going to be good to implement. That'll be fun. First, though, we need to see where is that implemented. Define, let's see, method, define singleton method owner. It's defined on kernel module. So let's go down to the bottom and we'll just implement that. Okay, what have I done? What have I done? Yeah, interesting. Did I? Yeah, I added sleep. Okay, cool. I added sleep earlier. Where was I? So just make a function here, and we'll call this define singleton method. Oh, I need to decide how this works. Well, first we want to make sure it always has at least one argument. Well, exactly one argument. And we want the argument to be a string or a symbol. If it's anything else, then we want to fail. And I believe I have some code I can just steal for that right here. Question though, when I do define singleton method foo, when I run that, it returns the symbol. What if I give it a string? Does it return? Always returns a symbol. So name object is args0, and we want this to be a symbol. Then we're good. If it's a string, then we're going to turn it into a symbol. Probably need a helper method for this. This is probably a pattern that we're going to run into, but I'm not going to do it right now. And I assume this is the same error. So if I give this like a number, what do I get back? 1 is not a symbol nor a string. So it would be 1 is not a symbol nor a string. Perfect. Name object. Okay, cool. And I happen to know that in Module C, we do something very similar. I think we're going to copy this, paste it here. It's going to be close to this, but a little bit different. So the method name, now why did I go to all this trouble to create a method name? Oh, that was because I was appending an equal sign. I don't actually need that. Yeah, don't actually need that. So I don't need method name. We do need the block environment. We're going to build the detached block environment, and we don't need to set a variable. That was something we were doing for the adder reader and adder writer stuff. We're going to call this the method block, and we're going to create a block, and we're just going to pass in the block that was passed. Oh, do I have an assert block? Nat assert block. Nat assert block? Yeah, I have that. Nat insert block, because we definitely want the block. And this is going to be method block. And then we're going to return the name object. Okay, so we're close, except this is the wrong internal function. It shouldn't be nat defined method with block. It should be nat define singleton method with block, which doesn't exist. So just keep unwinding everything. So we have these, which do the work of taking either a function and creating a nat method, or it takes a block and creates a nat method. So we have nat define method with block, nat define singleton method, and then we have these undefines. But we don't have a nat define singleton method with block, and that's what we're going to make. But first, let's get rid of some of this duplication, because I'm seeing a pattern here. So this code is exactly the same as this code, isn't it? No, function, yeah. So what if I do static nat method from function, and we just pass that in there, and this is going to return a nat method, right? Yes. And then we'll just copy this to here, return method, and we'll replace that nat method from function, and do that there. And we get to do it down here too. I like removing duplication. That's so fun. True, yes. Perfect. And we'll do the similar thing. We'll do nat method from block, and we'll say this is, we're going to pass in the block. And it's done a little bit differently. It's done this way. Return method, block function, block. Perfect. This is nat method from block. Block here and delete that. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so now we get to do what we came here to do, which is nat define singleton method with block. So it's going to be kind of a combination, a hybrid of that top one. Why did I do that? Nat define, yeah, that'll work. Singleton method with block. And it creates the method from the block. Perfect. And then we're going to do this. So it builds a singleton class. It removes the thing. It adds the method. Yeah. Okay, so that's not in our header, which we will fix. Nat define singleton method with block. Method name. This is in kernel C. Well, let's go to kernel C 274. What did I block env self nat block? What did I mess up? Nat block. Oh, it's already in that block. That's right. So this is just block. I don't need to build one. And then 275. This isn't method name. It's name obj. And do our tests pass? No. Because I didn't actually add this to the kernel object. So I'll add this here. Add this here. Define. What? Oh, thanks, autocomplete. You are worthless. Define single. It's really not there. 10 method. Cool. Come on. Rebuild. Go, 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 go. Key is not void. What? Hash map remove. Okay. Apparently I did something stupid over here. Class free, class may, name, method. Well, what does that mean? So hash map remove key is not equal to void. Where nat defines equal to method with block hash map remove. I'm doing literally the same thing. Nat defines singleton method with block. And the name I passed in is null. Well, that would do it. The name I passed in was null. Because it's a symbol? Yes, it's a symbol. Okay, let's run that again. Boom! Ha! Yeah! It works. Where was I? Unwinding. Yes, I was here. You know, it'd be cool if we actually had a spec for nat-defined singleton method, and let's just do that. Doing things kind of out of order, but define method nat. Define method test.nat. Let's just read test Natalie sign test because I just want this top little. Oh, I only needed that one line. Oh well. Define singleton method. Oh, now you autocomplete it. Of course. So it defines a new method on the object given a name and block. This camera is really frame ratey, kind of laggy. Now I think we can open that. Yeah, the camera's trash. That's a good way to test this. Just create a new object. And then object define singleton method, and we'll call it foo because that's my favorite thing to call everything. Foo method, and then we'll say obj foo should equal foo method. And we don't need to write it there, but we'll do bin Natalie test Natalie define method test. Cool. And just because I'm always skeptical, no, I need to do make sure my test fails. If you don't do test first, then you should always make sure your test failed. And it did. And that works. Cool. So, test spec. Did we actually do everything we needed here? Should not receive just defines a method that if it gets called, it raises spec field. Okay, that was easy enough. We should commit that. Get add test. Now we define method test. And what else did we change? That I'll commit that separately. Commit that separately. Did not run make format. Okay, nope, nope. Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, 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 yes. I love saying yes. No, not that yet. Okay, so we'll do implement kernel define singleton method. Oh, that's so cool. Blocks are pretty powerful in Ruby, and getting them right in Natalie was a lot of work. But now that they work, being able to do metaprogramming like that is pretty awesome. A lot of the foundational work, which was hard, and many tears were shed, make it possible, and now things are starting to fit together in the language, which is amazing, and it makes me super happy. So let's do add object should not receive to spec library. I don't want to say library, say runner. Yeah, I guess it's a library. And then let's just keep going down and see if we can find other things that we can implement. Like I said, I don't really have an agenda other than just doing what looks easy and fun. Calls to array on the object when taking multiple arguments. Ooh, this could be cool. So this would be the opposite. Implementing should receive instead of should not receive. And mock. We don't have a mock yet. So let's just open that one. We'll run our little tool again. And undefined method mock. So we can work on that in our spec library. I'll just put it here. Is it really just an object and then you do define singleton method inspect and you return? I'm not sure what it returns in mspec, which is what Ruby spec is written with as mspec. I'm not sure how it does it, but we're just going to do it this way. I'm going to put the name in here. And, I don't need an end. And then return the obj. Call it obj. You know what I want here? What I really want here, I might do it too. I want tap. So I love tap. I think it just makes things so cool. Undefined method tap. Yeah, why not? Let's see what we can do with that. It's on kernel. Of course it is. Kernel C. Shouldn't be too hard to do. I don't think. Built-in H. We'll put it down here. And we'll call, let's see, tap and tap. Make format. Okay. What's it gonna do? Oh, because I didn't save this yet. That's fine. Well, I guess it's going to always return self, and it's going to run the block. I'm just going to cheat here because I don't remember exactly how we run blocks. Does it pass any arguments? I don't think so. Wow, is it really that simple? It just runs the block. Oh, no. It does have an arg. It passes in self. Does that work? Cool. Just making sure that that works. So if I have, let's say a hash, and I say tap do h3 equals 4, yeah, and it returns the object. So awesome. Let's go ahead and commit that. Nope. I probably should write a test for that, but I'm not going to. It's simple enough. I can't imagine how I would have gotten it wrong. Implement kernel tap. Okay. So the other thing that we didn't have was should receive. This one could be interesting. Test spec. Should receive method, because I can't just raise something. I think what I need to return is some sort of object. Should receive expectation.new and pass in self and method, and should receive expectation, def initialize object and message. I like message better. Sent to. Should receive message. I don't know, just like it better. More small talky. Small talk-ish. Object equals object. And message equals message. And what do you do? So you call should receive with a message, and then you say and return. So I think this object needs an and return results, and what's it do? Yes, it does object define singleton method with the message, and the block returns the result. Is it that easy? It's that easy. Sometimes it do be like that. It really is that easy. Well, is it that easy? Is it? Because we actually need to test that it was called. Because like this should fail. How do we make that fail? How do we make that fail? Well, let's first have something that decides if it ran or not. So we'll have it false. And I don't think you can say, I don't think you can do an instance variable inside of a block like that, because I think it's going to be on the object that the block is attached to as a method. But we will try it. Well, we can run it through Ruby just to make sure. Yeah. So we'll call this the expectation, and expectation and return, and then we'll call this, and we'll print expectation pass. Did it pass? Yeah. Try that. Ruby require test support Ruby require patch spec language block spec. False. And we know it was called. So So I think what I need to do is should receive expectation passed. Give it like a little proc here, and then call that inside. Don't need the parens. Does that work? Yes, it prints true. Curious, can I do a call like that? Yes. And does it work in Natalie? Yes, it prints true. I don't know, what do you like? Do you like the dot parens or the dot call? I think I'll leave it as dot parens. I don't know what's better. So let's put this kind of, I'll just hit undo about a dozen times, save myself some trouble. So we want this to fail. So we know if it's or we know if it's recording whether it went or not. But we need a way in our spec runner. How are we going to do this? We need a way after a test is run, because we don't want to test it right away. We have to let this code, we have to let the test finish. And then at the end of the test, down here somewhere, we need to do check all the expectations. So we need some sort of registry of checks to be made. How do we do contexts and stuff like that? We just tack a context on the end. Oh, so the last context is the current context. Okay. And a context, oh yeah, we do it just like before stuff. So we could say, let's do kind of a generic thing. After each block, after each block, after each, well, do we need the after all? Yeah, I don't want to make it if we don't need it. And then where do we run these? Context, context each. So this is where we run those. So I think we want to do it here. So after the function runs, we want to do all the after eaches and run those. So that shouldn't fail. That shouldn't break anything because I don't have any register. Oh, here's why. After each. I don't have the adder reader for that. Perfect. Okay. And then down here where we had the expectation should receive, this should go up here with all the other expectations. Just a nice happy family. Should go right here. So the should receive expectation yeah, so it needs to register. I guess it needs the context. How do we get the context? Object. That's on the wrong object. Interesting. Where are we going to get the context from? I really don't know. Because by the time I get in here, the self has changed to whatever object I'm referencing. So if I say obj should receive something, the context is already, like the instance variable is gone. I may have to rethink that a little bit. I need to attach something to the context, but do I? What if I set up some global that I clear out? Yeah, I'm going to put, oh goodness gracious. Yeah, put that back. That's fine. Put all this back. Okay, there's that. This, I do want to move this up. Okay, I think I'm going to do this way. So I'm going to say expectations and clear it out every time. So we run the spec. We're going to clear out the expectations. Okay, that doesn't break anything, right? Hopefully not. Okay, so that still works. This is kind of getting gross. Okay. So say expectations, and we're going to add our self. Okay, that didn't break anything. I'm going to say expectations each do expectation. And it'd be nice if we could just do, what did I call it up here? Is there like a validate or match, or what is it? What is it called? There's a matcher, match. It's not really match. What's a good word? I guess validate. Put a bang on it. Validate bang. Which means we need a validate method. Def validate. And we don't need this attr reader anymore because we're just going to say unless pass, then we're going to raise. I'll just copy this because I'm lazy. I'm a lazy bum. Spec failed exception. Subject should have received a message. Should receive message. Subject. No, not subject. Object. Oh, it is subject. Oh, I like that better. I like it. Cool. Okay, we're getting closer. It raised an exception, but I know why. It's because I'm writing it in the else. I don't want to write it in the else. Oh, expectations. I don't know why I did. I don't know why I deleted that code. I want to run it here. Mock destructure block argument should have received to array. Yes. And if we do this, sweet. Oh, it's so cool. Okay. Do we commit this separately? Yeah, we'll do that. Should receive expectations. Yeah. So do add object should receive to spec library. Okay, how are we doing on time here? It's 8 o'clock. Okay, could probably do a few more. Like this one might already be done. Is it already done? Yes, 10 specs. Should not receive. Is that one done? 11 specs. Ooh, it's going up. Should not receive. That's a splat. I don't know if splats are working right now. Appear to be. Receives the object if toArray returns nil. Boom. And raises a type error if toArray does not return an array. I don't think we're doing that, but I could probably fix it. Raises type error. Should have raised type error, but instead raised nothing. Okay. Let's just go fix that. So if you have an object and its toArray method returns something that isn't an array, then we're expecting to see a type error. Cool. Well, that was in my last video where I'd started working on this, and it has grown a lot. We're not doing arrays, right? We're doing blocks. Okay, so it's going to be this one. Since my last video, this has grown quite a bit and handles every case that I threw at it so far, which is to say every type of arguments where you have default arguments on the left and default arguments on the right and splats and nested arguments and all that stuff. This hurt my brain a little bit, so I'm got a little bit scared of this. But hopefully I don't have to do too much work. But I believe here we're calling toArray somewhere. I made this method nat toArray. Does this really raise a type error? The reason I'm hesitating because over here somewhere I believe I tested that toArray thing. Where was that? Block test. You know what? I'm just going to do it and see what breaks. So if it responds to toArray, then we call toArray. And if the result is an array, we return it. If not, then I think this part is wrong. This should return, this should do nat raise type error. Let's test this. Class foo def toArray returns 1. Wait, what? Oh. Foo 1 and int. And if I call a proc that takes a couple args and I call it with this object, can't call foo, can't convert foo to array. To array gives integer. This is the message that we want to, it's the message we wanted to attach to our thing, to our exception. Can't convert. This is the class name that, so this obj. We don't want to lose obj because I need to keep that array. If array is an array, return it. Otherwise, I'm going to say obj class name. I think I have a nat class, nat obj class I should be using. I haven't been good about using it. Okay, so can't convert that to array. And then this is going to be it again. Class name gives something. What does this give? It's going to be nat obj class of the result class name. Okay. A ridge obj. Oh, I have a ridge obj right here. I should use better names. You know? You know, I liked my name better. I liked array better. And this is probably going away. So I'll do that. And okay, I'm back. I forgot where I was. I was renaming. Yeah, because I liked ARY better here. This is ARY. This is obj class name. This gives that. Okay, so many interruptions. So many interruptions. Object type error, can't convert that to array. Gives that's one of the best exceptions that I've seen from Ruby. I hope I got that right. Can't convert object to array. Object. Why is it object? Why isn't it? Wait, what? A block yielded a single. Receives the object of two. Oh, that's different. So a block is different. So sometimes this returns. Okay, we're just gonna do this. What do we call this? I'm just going to start typing force to array to return array. What do we call this? Say coerce, or fuzzy. Ugh, I don't know what to call it, because what I want to do is say if fuzzy, then do what I was doing. Otherwise, throw the error. And I don't need to repeat that. don't like the word fuzzy. What do we call that? Allow it's like laxness or forgive. Forgive bad result. No, it's stupid. What do we call this? Naming things is so hard. Why is it so hard? Let's say raise for non-array. Raise for non-array. Let's say if not raise for non-array, then return an array with a single item in it. Otherwise, go ahead and raise, and let's just reverse this. Raise for non-array, and I'll need to go fix, fix the signature here, and I guess for block args, we don't want to raise. Where else do I call that? Well, thank you for all the warnings. There we go. Where am I calling that? To array. That's the signature. That is the signature again. That's a comment that has everything. Okay, so mAssign, I'm just gonna say it doesn't raise here. And it doesn't raise here. And it does raise here. I don't know, just guessing. Unknown node type false and true. Oh, right. I have to do this as a literal. Unknown node type false. I think this has to be a symbol then. Okay, okay. Should have raised type error, but instead raised nothing. A block yielded a single object. Raises a type error if toArray does not return an array. So in one of those, assign args. This one should raise. Let's run it this way, so we have less code to look at. So if I have a proc that takes a couple of args and I call it with an object, so we'll say class foo def to array returns a 1, and I pass in a foo.new. We'll just print this here. In Ruby, that's supposed to raise? Yes. That's supposed to raise an error. Now what is the code that's generated? So here's our block. Block args to array. That is doing the work. Nat block args to array. And I thought I handled that. Block args to array. Oh, this should raise. True. I don't need that. So now it does essentially the same thing in Ruby and in Natalie. Can't convert foo to array. Gives integer. Oh, yes. That's awesome. It's a little bit different. This says block in, but that's okay. Our stack trace is cooler. Okay. Does this pass now? No, can't convert object to array. Receives the object if to array returns nil. Block yielded a single object. Oh, it behaves differently. It behaves differently? What? I wish I had the line number that this failed on. Block yielded a single object. Yielded a single. That's that. And then object, and then receives the object if to array returns nil. Receives the object. That's this one. Let's just focus that test. Yeah, can't convert object to array. Okay. This one, what's the difference? What is the difference? Raises. I don't understand. What is the difference? What does def m do? It just yields the thing. What? Someone tell me what. Oh, if it returns nil, then it does something different. Oh, right. Okay, okay, that's fixable. Fixable. So, let's put these back in the other order. Say if it doesn't raise, so if the nat type of the array is nat value nil, or receives the object. Okay. If it's nil or we don't want to raise, then produce an array and return that. Does that work? Yes. Okay. Let's not focus that test anymore. Nice. Let's make sure I didn't break anything else in the process. I'm almost out of drink, so probably wrap up this video. Got some pretty cool stuff done. Yeah, it's really cool that this is starting to come together. To do rewrite. Was that my? No, that's the original. Okay, I didn't write that. Captures locals from surrounding scope. Yeah, I think this stuff works, but I'm too scared to open that can of worms right now. Okay. Expected something to be a success. And spec, Ben, Ellie, spec, language, and spec. What did I break? some sort of seg fault. Ooh. That's a seg fault. What is array? Ooh, it's null. Cool. Well, anytime that happens, then I add an assert here. Because I want to see that blow up sooner. I don't want to have to go into GDB. Assertion array failed because it's null. Why is this null? It responds to toArray. Interesting. Okay, so let's do GDB again. Proc call. Nat to array. What is obj here? I can't type. It's nil. Really? Yeah, it is nil. Nat to array nil. Huh. I'm kind of stumped. What does it think that? Can I do this? Nat respond to env nat nil to array. Can I do that? Oh, because that's a macro, so it's really env global env nil. False. It does not respond. Oh, I broke this when I renamed everything. There was a reason that I had this orig obj. I had this here, right? I'm just gonna do it like that. Okay. So I got a little bit anxious, excited. I started renaming everything. I don't think I need that assert. That was just me being stupid. So I say object, they return the object. So go down through here and say object equals that. We're going to push the original object. Change this to object. This original object. And this is object. Okay. Yes, quit. This should, 1326. This must be object. So that should pass, and hopefully all our tests still pass. Nope. still need to rework this. I'm putting it all back. Don't judge me. Okay. Well, let's try it this way. Let's say if it responds to toArray, then we're gonna do this. If the result is an array, great. If it's not, then do that, yada yada yada. Let's say if it doesn't respond to toArray, then we're gonna fall back to this one. I'm just, yeah, let's do it this way. Does that work? I think that works. Because if it responds to it, then we're going to go through all this junk. If it doesn't respond to it, then you just always... Yeah. Yay for test suite. Good old test suite caught our bug. Does this show me how long my video is? Nope. Okay. Everything. What are we going to call this commit? Fix how toArray is used for block args. Yeah. And enable some more specs. Oh, so cool. Thanks for watching. Sorry my video is blurry. I don't know if I can fix that. This thing is, it's just bad. Maybe I'll get a big old one of those Logitech webcams to stick up there. But I really like this machine. It's a little ThinkPad X230 that I have modded over the years, and I wish I could show you a video of it. Maybe I'll do another video about it. Put a 5-row keyboard in it, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6-row keyboard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6-row keyboard, like the old ThinkPad style. And I changed the motherboard. I put an i7 processor in it. It's got an SSD. Oh, and I did the Nitrocaster. Since you're here and you haven't clicked off, I'm just gonna bother you with this Nitrocaster ThinkPad 230. Yes, the full high definition monitor mod. I did this on it. Was it last year or the year before? I don't remember when. It's been a while now. Which just gave it new life. I learned how to solder and soldered this onto the motherboard and bought a 1080p LCD panel and had to cut the plastic out of the case of my laptop and fit all this stuff in. And soldering these, like, you have to solder these tiny little pins, and I had to get a microscope, which is why I own that microscope right there, which was way overkill. But I learned how to solder a little bit, and anyway, this laptop's a lot of fun, and I haven't used it in a while, but I want to get back into using it. I just wish I could mod the webcam so it wasn't trash. But anyway, I diverge. That is all I have for today. Thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you next time.